Welcome back to Conscious Ground Sound. I'm your host Jay Ando with a classic indie album review from the band Beachwood Sparks with their debut self-titled album Beachwood Sparks. Released on March 21st, 2000 on Sub Pop Records, and the album was produced by Mike Deming. Beachwood Sparks formed through a scene centered around KCRW 88.9 FM, a Loyola Marymount University radio station in Los Angeles, and also through the association of mutual groups such as the indie rock group Further, where guitarist Christopher Gunst and bassist Brad Rademacher first collaborated in the band Strictly Ballroom, where drummer Jimmy Hay played with Christopher Gunst. Jimmy Hay was later replaced before the debut album by drummer Aaron Spursky of the Lilies, Ariel Pink's Haunted Graffiti, Father John Misty, and the Skiffle Players. Farmer Dave Scher is the other long-standing member of the group who appears on the debut album where he plays pedal steel, piano, and organ. Beachwood Sparks revived the Laurel Canyon country rock sound of Graham Parsons and the Flying Burrito Brothers, Neil Young, the Byrds, and Buffalo Springfield, and developed a psychedelic sound more akin to an independent rock band emerging from the ethers in a modern incarnation. The band's vision came at a time when there was really no other band going in this direction, and it was something new that coincided with other visionary but wildly different albums, like Radiohead's Kid A, Elliott Smith's Figure 8, and Ween's The White Pepper. Beachwood Sparks is not a sophomore album, but the debut album for the band, who came forth with a fully realized vision, great songs, a great album cover, and a sound that captures the warmth and beauty of the California sound, with Beach Boys-like harmonies and a psychedelic cowboy sound that has a personal, endearing tone to it. In the year 2000, as we well know, Spotify, Bandcamp, and Amazon Music didn't exist. There was something called a record store, which is now somewhat of a novelty for this generation. I personally found this album combing through CDs in the Tunes record store in Hoboken, New Jersey, and was immediately drawn in by the album artwork and the name of the band. And I thought this must be a great album, and it turns out I was right. The name for the band came from former member Jimmy Hay, who combined two intersecting street names in the Burbank area, and the rest is history. The album explodes into being with Aaron Spursky's drums and Christopher Gunst's wailing guitar line on Desert Skies. There are jangling 12-string birds-like chordal harmonies and a soaring pedal steel line by Dave Scher. The song develops one of the band's favorite themes, which uses the contrasts of city life with their desert life or forest ruminations in their later work to reflect inner states of being. The Ballad of Never Rider is an interlude that segues into The Silver Morning After, which is a full-tilt cowboy song that has an organ interlude that reminds us that this is not what you think it is. The song even starts to sound like a Zombies track at one point. Beachwood Sparks uses interludes quite effectively and profusely on this album, and that's what Singing Butterfly, the sleepy guitar drone, is, which segues us into the track Sister Rose, the most blistering country pop song on the album. Sister Rose reminds me of the Flying Burrito Brothers' 6 Days on the Road, with the exception of the psychedelic jam in the middle section that reaches a day in the life type crescendo that is brought back only by the sweet country turnaround riff for the song. The track This Is What It Feels Like is heavily influenced by the Beach Boys and sounds like it could have been a track off the album Smiley Smile. The song is short and segues seamlessly into Canyon Ride, a laid-back, beautiful ballad with a Grateful Dead American Beauty feel. The band seems to capture the best of the California sound with simple lyrics and music that evokes a certain visceral imagery that reflects the collective psyche of the group. Chris Gunst sings, "Blades of grass through the concrete, or a smile from a good friend makes all the fear disappear for a while." There's an amazing pedal steel section on Canyon Ride that is layered with Hammond organ and acoustic piano that really has the most down-home feeling. The track The Reminder is a stark and lovely spiritual with sobering lyrics that tells the listener, "Depart from your dreams, cold and sober as it seems, you're in no position to fly. Lose what you found, keep your feet on the ground, you're in no position to fly." It's music and lyrical genius that's ahead of its time, and here at the heart of the album, these lyrics seem to suggest that the group is aware of this fact. The track Calming Seas pulls us out of this contemplative state into a reassuring acoustic guitar ostinato with an amazing pedal steel line that floats over the top. The lyrics for Calming Seas infer that Beachwood Sparks have created a mini universe or bubble and the outside world seems like a cold place compared to this visionary reality they've entered. The track New County is a somber western song with a well-crafted harmonica turnaround that talks about getting out of your hometown and the inner reflections of someone with wanderlust and the desire to realize far-off dreams. The song is heartening. Gunz sings, "It's a long trip to get out of this town. If you go, be sure and let me know." New County has rollicking piano lines and reaches a mellow crescendo that's vamping the same vocal line. But then a reprise kicks in with an upbeat country groove, likely the point in the story where the characters find a way to escape and leave town. At this point in an album, most times I'm not expecting much, and often the quality of songs start to deteriorate. But this is the exact opposite of what happens with Beachwood Sparks, who stick some of their best songs towards the end with the Birds-esque "Something I Don't Recognize," which I believe talks about perspective and the aha moment after looking at something in an ordinary way, then realizing it's a bit more extraordinary than you previously thought. The lyrics are almost a haiku set to an upbeat psychedelic country rock song that once again morphs into another platform for a psychedelic jam session. "Something I Don't Recognize" is followed by "Old C Minor," which is a Beatles-esque song that reminds me of a track that could be off Abbey Road, that has the character in the song diving into the abyss in his old-time diving bell, bringing back new treasures. The song goes back and forth from a very Donovan, childlike, playful sound into a psychedelic rock jam that sounds a bit like the trading guitar solos from The End on Abbey Road, but significantly less brilliant than the Beatles solos. Sorry guys. The album is close to an end, and here sandwiched between the end song is CO3, a track that speaks to finding love amidst the limitless possibilities that modern convenience like telephones, airplanes, and cars offer. It's a musician on the road song that cautions the listener and narrator to hold on to the ones you adore. I often feel on Beachwood Sparks that Gunz is offering us a glimpse into his personal emotional realm that is honest in the way that it harbors doubt, longing, and a desire to be free. The album ends in a somber interlude track called "Sleeping Butterfly" that has the band dissolving into the ether. When listening to this album on a device that has automatic repeat, you get jolted out of this somber ending back into the beginning riff of "Desert Skies," which is an unsettling but simultaneously enjoyable experience. The album on a whole is a concise statement, but with near perfect vision, impeccable songwriting, and a psychedelic conception. The production is top notch, and the whole vision of the album is a transporting experience that leads to a beach under the California stars with a bonfire crackling, the waves breaking in the background, and the scent of jasmine drifting on the breeze. Beachwood Sparks is a near perfect 10 album that I would give a 9.5, given that it's a debut album that has relatively short musical statements. But as a complete work, it stands out as one of the top albums of the past 15 to 20 years for its seamless, flowing texture and inspired songwriting. Beachwood Sparks is truly a classic indie album that can enhance your musical universe. This has been another indie classic album review from Conscious Ground Sound. Check out the review for 5 Styles Miniature Portraits, the first in the Indie Classics series. Also, check out social media and subscribe if you enjoyed this video to get notified of upcoming new releases and classic albums alike.